Good evening. Welcome to this channel. It's about past lives and reincarnation. Right. I'm going to read you a great comment. Well, I think it's a great comment. I can relate so much to this. Okay, it's a short one. I wonder why freedom is my greatest desire. And I have always hated oppression and abuse of power and people who want to control me. To this day, I can never follow a doctor's order when I feel it makes my body not feel well. I had the same problem when I was doing my military service. It's great, thank you. All right, so if you ask me, when it's this strong, I understand, this is very, very strong with you, isn't it? It's got nothing to do with you, how you were raised. It's nothing to do with your parents. This is so strong. It's so deep in your heart. It's got something to do with what happened to you in the past. Your experiences in the past, when it's this strong. And I can relate, of course. I hate bureaucrats for this. I can't stand them. Trying to control people. I hate this. I have the same issue with doctors. And I had early on, when I was a kid, And my parents, they were not like this. They said, oh, the doctors, they know what they are doing, And authorities, you should trust the authorities. I was very suspicious from the very start. Actually, the same thing with the military. I did my service when I was 18 years old. It was mandatory here in Sweden. And I thought it was so silly. It was such a waste of time. And I was actually thinking about it. What if the Swedish government, that I don't like at all, if they said, we are going to fight now. We are going to fight Denmark. I wouldn't do it. It wouldn't be my war. Very different if it was my war, of course. Some jerks attacked people that I liked. I would fight, of course. But I wouldn't do it. So I thought, this is just a waste of time. And I had the same thing with doctors. Right? Very suspicious to doctors. And I found out why. I was actually killed in the hospital not too long ago. And I thought, they killed me. They didn't know what they were doing. The treatment killed me. I would be better off if I just stayed away from the hospital. This was my conclusion at the time. I hated it. And I don't think this is very uncommon, is it? No. People are being killed in hospitals. Wrong treatments. Right. Now, I still get questions about how to remember past lives. Now, I think there's a lot of people talking about it now. And maybe it's because I'm aware of it. But I think so. And we need to remember this, I think so, that this subject has been pushed down for a long, long time. Especially lately. Right? From this last century, you would say, I would say. This idea about living past lives, about living here, living again, having lived before. What have they done to this subject? Well, they didn't want people to believe it. A lot of propaganda on this subject, especially from science. Now something is starting to change on this. And I think this is so important, because if people start to understand or get familiar with this idea that maybe this is how it works, you know, you live, but you lived before, and you will live again. You know? People start to understand this. This will help people, absolutely. And I see people are starting to remember past lives. Adults, not just the kids. You know? I hear stories. And this is, of course, because you are starting to accept this idea. And you say, well, this sort of makes sense, you know? Explains a lot of stuff that is going on, right? And what will lead you to your past life are flashes. Well, that's what happened to me. You get these flashes, but also the dreams. You know, these dreams when everything seems very real. You haven't been there, you think, but it's so real, right? The dream. And you sort of recognize it, but still not, right? This is past lives. You are starting to remember stuff. And the same thing with the flashes. Why are they there? Why are you getting flashes? Because you're starting to remember. That's what's happening. Well, if you ask me. And the flashes are very interesting. And this is what helped me a lot when I started to get them. They are very sudden, unexpected. They can come whenever, you know. And it's usually connected to an emotion. And they are like pictures, like mental pictures. You know. And they can be very clear and detailed. That's right. So, when people start to accept them for what they are actually flashes from past lives. Big things can happen. This is a very important thing. This is, I think, the most important thing in a person's development. When he starts to understand that he has lived before. Extremely important. Great things can happen when you start to realize this. Right. All right. Be good.